I'm Kelly from Bookkeepers Support, and welcome to our interview with Peter from Retriever. Thank you, Peter, for joining us to have a look at your product, which I think is going to be an absolute asset to my fellow bookkeepers and helping clients manage their ATO debt more efficiently. So, Peter, please tell me about Retriever and what you do.
Yeah, hi, Kelly. It's great to be here with you, and congratulations on where you're going with the Bookkeepers Support Networks. It's exciting to see what's going on there. Yeah, look, Retriever really came from a need that we identified in another small business that I own. We'd accumulated, like a lot of small businesses, a GST debt, and we all think that we're going to manage it correctly and we're going to put money aside. But unfortunately, human nature gets in the way and we don't do that, or we put the money aside and we go and raid that fund for other activities in the business. And I'm sure that's a scenario that all bookkeepers are very well aware of.
Absolutely.
So we came up with Retriever, and Retriever is very simply a tool to manage that process of putting the GST aside out of your income. And we do that by monitoring a customer's bank account, and then we process the GST 3 times a week. So because it comes out so frequently, it doesn't get a chance to build up in the customer's account, but also it comes out in little small chunks, so they don't notice the impact on their cash flow so dramatically. And then when the bookkeeper says, "Congratulations, Pete, you've had a great quarter, here's your BAS bill," instead of going, "Oh, what have I done with that money? How am I going to pay it?" You're already prepaid. So it helps keep you compliant, helps keep you up to date, helps your mental health because you're not lying in bed wondering how you're going to pay this bill. And the customers that we already have using Retriever love it. You know, the feedback we've got is say, this is like magic. We've actually done nothing different in our business, but before we never could pay or struggled to pay our BAS payment. Now it's already paid. So they really see it that way.
And that's fantastic. You know, the fact that we all have money troubles at various points in our business life, and to be able to say, you know what, the ATO is paid, I don't have to stress about that. That is a huge, big deal, I think, in our industry. And I think your product will be well received and definitely needed. Just from my client base, I definitely believe it's a product that they need in place immediately. So just, can you give us a demo and just show us what it's all about?
Yeah, sure. So I'm happy to do that. I'll just share my screen here. This is what you will see. So I'll take you back to the beginning here. So once you log in, and we have, two-factor authentication set up on all these. And for those bookkeepers out there that are familiar with Xero, and I'm sure many people are, we use exactly the same bank feed technology that Xero uses, which is a Yodlee feed. So once a customer subscribes to Retriever, and bookkeepers can be a Retriever partner, so they get a partner access and they can add and manage their own clients directly in the Retriever dashboard. What happens is we monitor the customer's account for deposits coming in. You, in collaboration with your client, or the client nominates a percentage. So we're not just taking 10% by default. We work on an averaging system. So if your customers' annual BAS or annual GST payments equal 6% of turnover, you can set Retriever to 6%. So that's all you're fetching out. So probably the most relevant section is this transactions tab. And you'll see here, this is actually a live account in Retriever. This is for my other small business. So these are all the GST payments that have come out, and you'll see they come out every few days. And this gives me a year-to-date total and a current quarter, how much I've paid on the current BAS quarter.
Wonderful.
Okay. The next tab down, which I won't show the live page because that actually has some sensitive information, but I've got a screenshot here. So this is what it looks like. So you'll see these are all the deposits going into the account. I've just blurred out the names of the actual businesses here, but these are the amounts coming in. And this is when the GST was processed. So you'll see there's a whole bunch of ones on the 1st of May because there's a lot of deposits come in on the 1st of the month. You'll notice there's one here that wasn't processed, and I'll explain what that is in a moment. We have a method of excluding certain amounts out of the GST run if that's needed. So I'll just go back to the live page here. This is the retrieval rate. So you can set the rate to be whatever you need it to be, anything from 1% up to 50%, whatever you want it to do. We have some clients already using Retriever, and they've got the retrieval rate set to 15 or 20%. And they're using that to not only pay their GST, but also address an existing GST debt and or put aside money for PAYG or company tax or those types of things.
Fabulous.
So give you some flexibility. Once you get it into their client's account at the ATO, then you can actually split the money off into other areas or other payments that need to be made. And the final thing we have is what we call a deposit cap. And what this does is it allows you to exclude certain amounts from your GST run. So if you're getting money from like a bank loan, or the owner is injecting capital into the business, so they want to put $10,000 in, that's a big amount that you don't want to have included in your GST run, then you can set the deposit cap to exclude amounts. Now, I've set this to $1,000 just to sort of demonstrate the system. That's why that other amount for $4,900 was excluded from the GST run.
Yes,
Okay.
great.
If you set this to 0, it just includes every deposit coming in, but otherwise it gives you some flexibility to exclude amounts from your GST run. So that's pretty much it. We've designed Retriever to be super simple and straightforward. So this is a demonstration, what it would look like from a Retriever partner's point of view. So you have exactly the same login.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is when you log in, you get this extra section down here where you can create a client. There's a how-to guide on how to onboard them.
Yep.
And then you can actually click in and, make adjustments to their retrieval rate, for example, or put in place their deposit cap. So you can value add your service to the client and sort of manage that process for them. And you get this traffic light system here where if there's any part of their account is not actually connected up, it'll give you a red, but when everything's connected up and working, it's all green. And you can send reminders directly from here for things like bank feeds, etc. So it's designed to be really straightforward. It's meant to be an automation, not something you want to interact with every single day that you're working with your client. It can be a bit set and forget. But what we recommend is that bookkeepers sort of when they get to their quarterly BAS, then they look at what's happening in Retriever and they go, oh, okay, well, look, you're a little bit behind where your BAS is telling us, so let's turn Retriever up 1% or 2%, or you're a little bit ahead, so we can turn Retriever down 1% or 2%. So you can just monitor it on a quarterly basis or a monthly basis if you're monthly reporting.
Fantastic. And does this connect direct to the bank account, or how does it retrieve that fund? Does it do a direct debit, or how does that work?
Yeah, so part of the onboarding process is you give us a direct debit authority on the customer's account, or the customer gives us that authority. So you connect up their bank account through the Yodlee feed. We start monitoring, just looking for deposits. Mm-hmm. And then we get the BSB and account number from you as part of the onboarding process. And then 3 times a week, we go and fetch the nominated percentage of GST and send that directly to the client's account at the ATO via BPay. So we never hold on to the money. That's an important consideration too. There's no risk that we're going to accumulate a big pot of money and sort of go to the Bahamas or anything like that. We decided that the easiest way to do it is send it directly to the ATO. And then that way the customer knows 100% that the money we've collected for them on their behalf is going to their account at the ATO.
I just love it. I think it's, something that's definitely needed at the moment. All the business is going belly up. So I think it's very relevant at the moment to be able to set up this service for our clients and be able to say, hey, we've got an easier way for you to manage your GST and not get into debt, which a lot of our clients are in debt, unfortunately. So this is a fantastic tool, definitely needed tool for the bookkeepers and the clients. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about Retriever?
Well, one thing I would say, Kelly, is, we sort of sometimes when we know from, the times that we've had Retriever partners, trying to get clients to sign up to Retriever, some clients we know like to use the ATO as an unsecured line of credit. And so there's some pushback a little bit there where customers go, oh, I kind of like having that little bit of cash flow buffer built into my business. And what we say is, look, start them on Retriever, but start it really low at 2 or 3%. So it's really not noticeable. If you said to any of your business owners, hey, if your turnover decreased by 3%, would you still be able to run your business? The answer is always going to be yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're saying to them is look, just get them on a really low rate to start with. Then at the end of the first quarter or when they get to their first BAS, you can say, hey, you've actually already paid a third through Retriever and you didn't even notice it. Yeah. So how about we turn it up another couple of percent?
Okay.
And then to the end of the other quarter, then you go, hey, look, you're actually pretty much almost paid your BAS through Retriever and you didn't notice it. So how good is that? So you're sort of training them into using the system without it being a big impact. So that's what we recommend. Get people started, just start it really low and let them build up to it over, say, 1 or 2 business quarters. Rather than go, whole hog all in, because we do know that some people like to keep that little cash buffer there but they tend to work with what's in their account, as I'm sure every bookkeeper knows. So over time, if you train them that the money is not going to be there, they'll still run their business a little bit more efficiently, and then they stay out of trouble with the ATO.
Yeah, brilliant. How much does it cost? So
it's $16.50 a month. So it works out to about the cost of a cup of coffee per week. We just automate the whole process. There's no cost to a bookkeeper to be a retriever partner, and the money is taken. The subscription fees are collected from the client, so we don't ask you to collect our subscription fees on our behalf. So really the benefit to the bookkeepers is a big time saving, and also your mental health with not having those awkward conversations constantly with your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. That is fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Peter. I really appreciate you coming and having a chat with me about Retriever. I think it's fantastic service. And of course, we'll have this video link as well as all of your contact details on our website so people can get in touch and organize a demo or a setup. And I thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Kelly. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to working with you guys. And yeah, it's exciting to see where it goes.
Exciting times ahead. Fantastic.
Thanks, Kelly.